Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Assistant Secretary General, colleague foreign ministers, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of the delegation of the Commonwealth of Dominica, I wish to express our gratitude to the government and people of the great nation of the United Mexican States for its leadership in the organization and execution of this General Assembly, and for the hospitality afforded us during our stay in scenic Cancun. The theme of this assembly, which speaks to strengthening dialogue for prosperity, is a very important one. For small island developing states, multilateralism creates an opportunity to participate in rules-based systems that are meant to protect our sovereignty, provide a forum to address concerns, and a platform for providing support for the attainment of our development goals. We therefore expect our membership and participation in the OAS to contribute to the realization of these goals. Additionally, we are committed to hold true to the values of the Charter and the instruments that emanate from the competent authorities of the OAS. Dominica is committed to upholding the rule of law and to the strengthening of our democratic institutions, as outlined in the Inter-American Democratic Charter. We recognize the need for the OAS to take action to support these goals, recognizing that shared security in our hemisphere is beneficial to all member states. The action of the OAS, however, should uphold the principle of non-interference and respect for the sovereignty of nations. At all times, dialogue must be encouraged. All parties to conflict and perceived conflicts must be encouraged to resolve issues through dialogue. However, for the OAS to play such an important role, the integrity of the institution should be beyond reproach. The actions of the organization should therefore be unbiased and consistent with the behavior of international public servants and representatives of multilateral organizations. Mr. Chairman, it is without question that the rule of law and democratic norms and values are critical to the peace and prosperity of our people. Peace and prosperity, however, cannot be achieved if our island states continue to be affected by the impact of climate change. The impact of more severe hurricanes and the destruction of our most valued tourism assets, our beaches and coral reefs, and the damage to our infrastructure threaten to reverse the developmental gains that we have made. Our efforts to attain the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations cannot be achieved without dealing with the causes of climate change. The agreement of all member states of the United Nations to the Paris Climate Accord held out hope to all small island developing states. The commitments of countries, especially the major emitters of greenhouse gases, to reduce their emissions through a series of mitigation measures has been estimated by the Intergovernmental Panel Climate Change to change the trajectory of global warming. The withdrawal of the second largest emitter of greenhouse gases from the Paris Climate Accord is of major concern to small states. Climate change, in fact, poses an existential threat to at least 14 of the 34 member states of this organization and many others around the world. We therefore use this forum to urge the United States of America to reconsider its decision to withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord. Mr. President, we cannot achieve the Sustainable Development Goals set forth in the 2030 Agenda of the United Nations if the impact brought about by climate change, with more severe hydrometeorological events, storms and hurricanes, and severe droughts, continue to negatively impact our efforts at development. Mr. Chairman, over the last few days, we have heard questions posed about the relevance of the OAS. While Dominica recognizes the role that the OAS should play in resolving internal conflicts in member states, that question, however, should not be limited to an evaluation on the ability of the OAS to solve these issues. The relevance of the OAS should also be called to question if it is not meeting the needs of its member states, especially the vulnerable. The silence of the OAS on issues of climate change is deafening. Similarly, one must question the relevance of the OAS in creating a platform to assist member states to to achieve their sustainable development goals. The OAS should use its unique role as a hemispheric organization to leverage its position to forge genuine and durable partnerships between and among states. These partnerships could serve as tools to share best practices to enhance competitiveness in businesses, as well as pooling resources for research and development in agriculture, fisheries, and to build resilience to climate change. In our efforts to make the OAS relevant to member states, the focus of the organization should be all-encompassing. We should vigorously pursue the ideals of the Inter-American Democratic Charter to safeguard the gains we have made in strengthening peace and security in our hemisphere. But with the same enthusiasm, we should pursue the development agenda to protect the most vulnerable among us and to implement the social charter for the benefit of all our people in the Americas. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.